What if I told you there's an ancient text that offers a clear blueprint for a life that never really ends? A guide not just to being a good person, but to achieving true holiness, even immortality. Well, that's exactly the powerful promise we're exploring today, as we dive into the very first chapter of the Book of Wisdom.
It's a question that cuts right to the heart of what it means to be human, isn't it? Whether you're deeply religious or just spiritually curious, that desire for a life with real, lasting meaning is pretty universal. Well, if that's a question on your mind, the Book of Wisdom has some incredibly powerful guidance on how to find the answer.
So, who is this for? You might be thinking it's just for ancient rulers, but its message is absolutely timeless. It's an exhortation, basically a passionate plea, for anyone from any walk of life who wants that deep spiritual growth. Its whole point is to show you a path, the path of righteousness, which it says is the key to an undying life.
The whole chapter kicks off with this really powerful invitation, a direct command that sets the tone for everything else. It's nothing less than an invitation to life itself, and it all starts with one crucial idea. The big command is to love righteousness. But hold on, what does that even mean? It's not just about ticking off boxes and following a bunch of rules. No, it's way more dynamic. It's about taking that divine wisdom and actually applying it to your choices, to how you live every single day.
And this is where it gets really clear. The chapter lays out this fundamental choice. It's like a fork in the road. You've got two paths, and they could not be more different. On one path, the righteous seek God honestly and get the gift of life. But then there's the other path. And get this, the text says the wicked literally make a pact with death. They invite destruction with their own lives. We're talking about a choice with some serious eternal stakes here.
Okay, so let's talk about what pushes God away. The text gives this really strong warning. The spirit of wisdom actually flees from deceit. So what does that look like? What are these barriers we put up that create that distance between us and God?
In this chapter, wisdom is talked about like a person, a Holy Spirit of discipline. And the thing is, this spirit just can't live in a soul that's filled with junk. We're talking about twisted thoughts, a heart that's scheming and plotting evil, a life that's just weighed down by sin. It's like these things build a wall that wisdom just can't get through. And that brings us to a huge point, accountability. There's no hiding. The text is super clear that God sees everything, our deepest, innermost self. He's the sure observer of the heart. You just can't fake it, you know? The idea is that the Spirit of God fills the entire world and knows every single thing we say, and even think.
And this whole idea of accountability doesn't stop with our thoughts. Oh no, it gets even more practical. The text really zooms in on something we do all day, every day, talking. And it says our words have incredible power. They can be a force for life, or they can literally be a weapon that kills. And listen to how specific it gets. It warns against profitless grumbling. How interesting is that? This isn't just about some huge life-destroying lie. It's talking about the small stuff too. The endless complaining, the negativity, the bad-mouthing. The book is telling us that this stuff is not harmless. It has real spiritual weight, and it's destructive. And here's the bottom line, laid out as plainly as possible. We're not just talking about hurting someone's feelings here. According to this text, a lying mouth literally destroys the soul. Think about that. The very thing we're trying to achieve, this undying life, can be destroyed by our own words. It's a direct line to spiritual death.
Okay, so that was a bit heavy, right? We've seen the path that leads away from God. But don't worry, the book doesn't just leave us there. It gives us a roadmap, a really practical guide for the path that leads towards Him. It's full of clear, actionable steps you can actually take.
This is the real how-to guide of the chapter. It's broken down into 3 simple but profound steps. First, it's about your mindset. Think of the Lord in goodness. Then it's about your heart. Seek Him with integrity. That means being real, being sincere. And finally, it's about your attitude. Approach Him with faith. Don't try to test Him. So what happens when you do this? What's the payoff? Well, the beautiful thing is, wisdom isn't trying to hide from you. God isn't playing some cosmic game of hide and seek. It's the opposite. Wisdom actually shows herself to people who come with real faith and trust. It's like the door is wide open. We just have to be the ones to walk through it. And this all leads to the grand finale of the chapter. This is maybe the most profound part of it all. We've seen the 2 paths, we've got the steps, now we find out where it all leads. What's the ultimate reward for choosing that path of righteousness?
Okay, get ready for this, because the book makes a really bold claim here.
It says flat out that God did not make death. It was never part of the original plan for us. Instead, death is something that people, the wicked, bring on themselves through their own choices and actions.
Now, it's super important to understand what death means here. We're not just talking about physical death. The book is talking about spiritual death, that eternal separation from God who is the source of all life. And that's the tragic end of the line for the path of wickedness.
But on the flip side, we get this absolutely beautiful, powerful statement. This is the promise that the whole chapter is built on. A righteous life, a life of integrity, leads to a state that is undying. And here's the key, it's not something you earn. Immortality is a gift from God for those who walk that path. So what this all boils down to is that your everyday choices matter. Like, they have eternal significance. Every time you choose honesty over a lie, or positive thoughts over negative ones, you're doing way more than just being a good person. You're actually making an alliance with life itself. How cool is that?
So, after all that, this ancient wisdom leaves us with a very personal, very modern question. The two paths have been laid out crystal clear. We see the consequences, we see the reward. There's only one thing left, and that's your choice. So, which path are you going to choose?
And the book even tells us where to start. The call to action couldn't be simpler or more direct. Start today. Don't wait. And you don't need some huge grand gesture. Just begin by seeking God with an honest, whole heart. That right there, that's the very first step on the path to a life that never ends.